Welcome to the Sponsor Spotlight. I'm here with John from DV Home Inspections. John, thanks for coming. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
absolutely.
your time. I wanted to ask you a personal question about gutters and
Okay.
kind of the importance, because this is something that we need to get added to our house. And
Okay.
I wanted to get your take on that, on the timeline on when you should get that done, the damage it can cause when you don't have that.
Right. Okay. Gutters. That's an interesting question. So first, I've got a lot of social media videos out there about gutters and why it's important to get inspections during the rainy season, what kind of things you can find because of water. Water is the greatest enemy to a home, right? So with gutters, if you're getting new gutters, couple of things you'll want to consider. What type of material do you want to get? Do you want to get the kind of plastic PVC type? Do you want to get aluminum type? They've got copper. I mean, it's kind of like, think about when you buy cars. You can buy kind of the compact, inexpensive car. You can buy, the Porsche top of the line and anything in between, right? So, not all gutters are made the same, but, one thing that you'll want to consider is the material type. One thing that's really popular these days is what they call seamless gutters. Mm-hmm. And so with gutters, in some cases you can go to like a big box store, a Home Depot's, a Lowe's, or whatever. You can get all the gutter parts and pieces that you need, marry them together, install them around your roof or what have you. But the problem is that you'll have all those seams, and there's a chance that water can escape in between all these seams. But if you go with a company that can offer you seamless gutters, then basically one entire run of the side of your home can be just one gutter, and then there's only an elbow to turn, right? And then it goes along the other side. And so I would highly recommend doing that just to make sure that you've got less points of failure on your gutters. And then the other thing is make sure you've got enough downspout extensions, right?
Okay. Get it away from your house, right?
Yeah, you want to get the water away from your house at as many points as possible. If you've got too few downspout extensions, then the water can kind of pool up, can't escape quick enough, and it starts overflowing your gutter. And so, and then you're just dripping water on the side as if you had no gutters to begin with. Right. So a good gutter company is going to come out and they're going to make sure that it's designed properly for your home. So just make sure you're selecting a good reputable company. And then I guess the last thing, right, going back to features of your gutters, is the sizing, right? Depending on the size of your home, if you got a smaller home, you can go with 4-inch gutters, what have you. But then some of the larger homes, 5-inch, 6-inch gutters might be more appropriate. So that's something to think about as well.
All right, seamless gutters. I'll keep that in mind. And I'm still a little bit shocked that that's something that's not required, not code in Florida. It rains all the time in Florida. So
yeah, it's not required. It's an added feature. I've done many new construction home inspections and there's no gutters. And it's just like, well, okay, I'm going to put that in my report as a recommendation because what winds up happening when you don't have gutters is the water will collect on your roof and start dripping directly on the side of your home. And two things happen. One, a ditch starts to create because the water is kind of just like, pounding on the ground, and it starts to ditch the ground around. Mm-hmm. And what happens then is water starts to accumulate in that ditch. And as you have water accumulating inside that ditch, then it's basically residing really close to the foundation of your home. And that water can erode the foundation over time. And so you just want to pull that water away from the home. Make sure you got good downspouts like we talked about, and downspout extensions. Don't just get the downspout and then it's spilling right in front of your home. Get those extensions and pull that water away.
So keep that in mind. Anybody that's looking to buy a home, perhaps that might be something you want to add to your new build project. So let's switch gears a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about pest inspections. Obviously, I know on VA homes it's required. I tell people, whether you're using a VA loan or not, to get a pest inspection here in Florida, and certainly a few states, it's highly recommended anyway. Talk a little bit about that. Maybe you got some recommendations on that.
Yeah, I do have some recommendations on that. So I'm probably going to get a lot of heat for this. Are we okay with some heat, right?
Oh, yeah.
A little controversy?
Yeah.
I would recommend that you don't get what they call a WDO inspection, wood destroying organism inspection. I would recommend that you don't get that from a home inspector. In fact, based on the state of Florida, anybody that wants to provide a WDO inspection should be a licensed pest control operator. And that license comes from the Department of Agriculture, whereas home inspectors get their license from the Department of Business and Professional Regulations, DBPR. So it's two different departments in the state of Florida, right? And so there's home inspectors out there that say, yeah, we do WDO inspections, but how are they getting those done? If they need to be a licensed pest control operator, right?
And you might know a guy?
Yeah, so I know a guy, and so I partner with a guy. His name is David. He's with WDO Pro. He's been in the business for decades. And so anytime I've got a home inspection, if the homeowner asks, hey, I need a WDO inspection as well, then I call up David and I say, hey, this is the time that we're getting ready to do our inspection. Are you available, etc. You don't have to use David if you go through me as a home inspection, but he is a trusted partner, right? Because I know that he's doing things the right way versus some of the other home inspectors who might be kind of like, working out some crazy shady deal type things or whatever. We want to stay away from all that kind of stuff.
And hit us with his name and company name.
Yeah, so it's David with WDO Pro, and it's I think you can find him on WDOpro.net.
Okay. And what about maybe the top 3 red flags that maybe new buyers can identify before they're putting in a contract offer? Maybe something they can keep an eye on before they get too far into it.
Yep. So if you're looking at, let me start with older homes.
Okay.
If you're looking at older homes, there's a couple of things that you can kind of look at right away just to make sure that the condition of your home is going to be good and, most importantly, insurable. Insurance companies, they're always looking for specific things,
especially here in Florida.
Yeah, especially here in Florida. So the insurance companies typically on an older home will want what they call a 4-point inspection. So these are the 4 things that you can look at right away when you're going out and inspecting the home. Don't look at the floors and say, oh, it's pretty, and look at the wall color. Like, the insurance companies don't care about that stuff. Nobody cares about cosmetics. What the insurance company is looking for is the condition of your roof. They're looking at the condition of your AC. They're looking at the condition of your plumbing and your electrical. So what you want to do is just make sure all the fixtures are working, all the plumbing fixtures are working, flip some light switches, and just kind of make sure that nothing goes zip, zip when you're, right? You're going to need a more thorough inspection than that, but you can kind of look at a roof and you can tell if it's in good condition. With the AC and with the water heater, you can take a picture of the serial number of the plate that's right there on the device, and based off the serial number, you can find the manufacture date just by looking it up online. And so you'll know how old the water heater is, you'll know how old the AC is, and those are some things that you're going to want to consider when you're buying an older home. With new construction home, it's all about the reputation of the builder, right? We've seen tons of videos where builders are out there and they're doing all kinds of shoddy work, all kinds of stuff on the news. And so look at the reputation of your builder, right? Look at the area that you're looking for, where they're building, how many homes they've built in the area, and just read online reviews, right? And then when you're going around the house, be a stickler for the details. Just, ask some questions. If the home is not complete, when you go to view the home, ask them what kind of things that they're going to do in order to get the home completed, how long it's going to take, and then see if they're meeting those timelines. If they start slipping and, it's like, it's going to be delayed this many weeks, if they can't hold up that end of the bargain, there may be some questions about their quality and the way that they work, right? And so something to think about with new construction.
Yeah, I think doing your research and giving yourself options. A lot of times when we're working with realtors, or even when I tell people that are searching to get pre-approval, get some options. You always want to give yourself 3 options, do your research, and then you make the best choice for you. Obviously, we want to earn people's business, you want to earn people's business, but I think that the work that you put in obviously sets yourself up for great reviews and great customer experiences, and do your research and give yourself options.
Yeah, absolutely. And even with that being said, it may be counterintuitive, but I'm going to tell you, go get some options with your home inspectors. Look around and check and see what it is that they're offering. And what I'm hoping to do is earn your trust and help you realize that I, as a home inspector, is going to be different than some of the other home inspectors in the area, right? Like some of the larger firms, kind of think about it like restaurants, right? The larger firms and stuff, the franchises, whatever. You got the McDonald's, they're going to hand out those burgers all the time, and they're going to be the same, and you know what they're going to get, but are you really happy with the Happy Meal? I don't know, right? But same thing with the big franchises of home inspectors and stuff. They're going to provide something at a certain level of quality, and that's fine, and that's all well and good. but then kind of take it down to the next level. You know, you've got some of those mom and pop restaurants that really, really know like what they're doing. They got their recipes dialed in and that kind of thing. It's the same thing with home inspectors. You know, if you find a home inspector who is not worried about mass producing inspection reports and doing as many inspections as possible, but serving you as a client, that's really what's important. And, you know, and I'll even say I'm more of a food truck kind of guy. Right.
Hey,
and food trucks like are super yummy. Anytime you find a food truck, I mean, it's like they're usually really slamming. But what's interesting about food trucks whenever you go, it's like they're really expensive. Right. And this is one of those situations where you get what you pay for.
Sure.
And I'm not shy to say I may not be the cheapest inspector around, but cheaper's not always better. Really, it's all about the value and the quality that you get in a home inspection. And when you're spending 6 and 7 figures on a home that you're going to live in, that you're using as an investment, whatever the case may be, long term, right? You don't want to pay, you know, Joey $50, $100, $200 to come and do an inspection. You want somebody who's going to come and do a thorough job and be an advocate for you.
Yep, absolutely. And you know, it's kind of the same thing with the lending side. We hear a lot of times when people are working with larger companies that it's hard to get a hold of who they're working with. Right. Sometimes they get stuck in a phone tree forever, and it can lead to delays down the road. It can lead to delays in closings. It's happened a lot. And so do your research, talk to other people that have gone through that experience, and find the best thing that works for you. So appreciate you guys for taking your time today. Is there anything else that you want to ask? Do you have any questions for someone like myself, or just a general question for the event that's coming up?
Yeah, I do have a general question for the event. This is the inaugural event, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So explain what the inspiration was for this event and why you wanted to do this event, and then like what your plans are going forward for year 2, 3, and 4.
Well, I think the biggest thing is to try to get community outreach, try to involve partners that we're used to working with, but also growing a network of partners that can give options to the folks in the community. Trident Home Loans, we're spread throughout the country. You know, we have a lot of loan officers that are spread out everywhere. And I think part of this focus was to dive into a little bit deeper here locally, to where we can make more of a local impact, get our name out there, and work with partners that we can develop relationships with, trust with, so that we can, in turn, you know, grow that following locally, have confidence with the people that we're working with locally, to know that, hey, you know, we've put in time together, we've worked together, and we have the knowledge and expertise to not only give them great service, but also help others in the community grow. And I think that once we start this event, the sky's the limit. You know, we get off the ground, but you also want to keep growing it. Pick the minds, people like yourself, and just see where we can take this thing. You know, take care of our clients.
Okay, so yeah, I do actually have one more question. Sure. For somebody like me, right? I have a military background, and you know, I had to travel a whole bunch. And when I was moving from station to station, I'm looking for a home. The first thing I'm doing is trying to call my bank to figure out how to get a loan. Yeah. So like, what makes Trident Home Loans different than calling a bank or a credit union or what have you? And why should people reach out to you versus somebody that they already know?
Great question. I love this one. And let's start off by just talking a little bit about interest rates, right? The first thing that we do every day is we are able to shop around. We have a pricing team that goes in. We work with anywhere from 12 to 15 investors on a regular basis, right? So what we're trying to do is create a competitive market so that when we do have clients come in and get pre-approval, we have created something for them that's not just the, hey, I am big bank A, right. We have our rate here, right? So first off is we create that competitive edge for them, and we have kind of an idea on where to start, because we rank them kind of on a daily basis so that loan originators like myself, oh, we've got a client scenario that comes in, we know where to go to first to try to look at what, yes, the best rate, but also we have flexibility. So let's shift it from rates to flexibility. So we talk to our borrowers about what's important to them. Is the most important thing closing cost? Is it interest rate? What is it? So we've got flexibility there. It's not just a one rate fits all. Let's shift it to communication now. So when we talk to some of the bigger banks, I hear this a lot, is that the communication's not always there. Right. A lot of times there's delays on when people hear back, whether it's the realtor, whether it's the client, on when they're going to hear back from their bank, right? So it can lead to delays in the process. And lastly, I'll say is we have over 900 five-star reviews. We are a veteran-owned company. Our owners are former Navy pilots turned Delta pilots, and so we care about not only veteran clients, but that is one of our biggest things that we do. But those are all reasons as to why you should choose Trident Home Loans as opposed to just going through your bank. But again, I will say, always want to give yourselves options. I still recommend getting 3 options when looking to get pre-approved.
That's good. And there's something to be said about somebody who owns a company and says, still go out there and get options, still go and check around, right? Sure. So I know you're taking that approach. I'm definitely taking that approach with DV home inspections. And so appreciate you answering that question.
Absolutely, John. Well, thanks for your time today. I appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you and hopefully all of you at the block party event in July downtown.
Home sweet home.
Thank you.